All right, we've got an early jump on winter weather this year. They got a rare Thanksgiving week snow in the Blue Ridge Mountains today. This video actually comes to us from ski country up in Blowing Rock, North Carolina. They're hoping the snow will draw up people to shop for Christmas trees and crafts this weekend. And Patrick says we'll even see some flurries in the mountains here in our area for Thanksgiving.
That's right. We're all back now to talk to Patrick more about his fearless winter forecast. All right, the number one question. We already had one snowfall here in the Tennessee Valley. Did that factor it all into it? When you were looking at it, did you say we've already seen one snow, it's going to be worse, or we've already seen one snow, we got it out of our system?
I like to look at the weather as it goes in cycles.
Okay.
And you remember the first part of fall, it was so mild and so pleasant,
Yeah.
and then we had that 10-day smash of cold weather.
Smash.
And that led me to believe that we're still not out of that pattern that we had last winter, where we had, what, 5-6 nights of temperatures in the single digits, had all that pipe-busting weather. We still have some of that still left over, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why I was tending toward a colder than normal winter.
Okay.
May not be as bitter as last year, but we're already seeing some instances. That little snow that we had at my house, that's pretty unheard of before Thanksgiving in the valley. In the mountains you could have it, but pretty unusual.
And November 18th, that's got to be pretty early. I mean, that's shortly after usually just our first freeze of the year.
Yeah, and we're late with our first freeze, but we were early with our first little snow, so we kind of jammed everything in a little bit.
All right, it was a very mild summer, Patrick, and last winter, of course, we know, we talked about it already, how many the days we had with the single digit, it was very cold. How does that all factor into the equation? When you look at the summer and last year's winter, do those factor into the equation as well?
They do. You like to kind of cut forecasting into 3 or 4 year segments, or I like to. I don't know if you recall, but it was back in the mid and late 70s. We had very, very cold winters for about a 3 or 4 year stretch. Last winter,
globally,
last winter was kind of typical to what we had back in the mid 70s. So a lot of forecasters, a lot of climatologists are saying, well, we may have another year or two of the colder than normal winter in parts of the central and southern plains in the southeast.
And we're showing video from that from last winter. I think most people are going to remember that as the year Atlanta shut down and people were on the interstate for 24 hours.
What was interesting is that, yeah, we had some snows, but we didn't have like several big, thick, hunky snows that sometimes you would. And
that's like an inch and a quarter that shut down.
Yeah, it's because it stayed so cold. We had these surprise snows where any sort of precipitation would fall on the highways and byways. I mean, it froze and it was immediate.
All right, I remember talking to you last year saying, you know, well, do you look at any of the weather folklore? I talked about the woolly worms at the beginning of the show. You know, they had that big old thick stripe last year. Does any of that really work?
Oh, I love looking at things like that, and I'm half scientist, half farmer, you know that. And so I like seeing what's happened. And this year we've had a huge assortment and amount and size of acorns, hickory nuts, walnuts that we haven't seen in a dozen years. So, you know, I don't think things happen for accident. And I think this may be, you know, just nature's way of saying, get prepared.
All right.
There you go.
Take the advice, everybody, and stay with us because we're going to look at the EPB lights when we come back.
Stay with us.